Before we start talking about the life of other great masters, you talked about advanced military sciences and how Bhagwan Sri Krishna made sure the society was empowered. Can we dive in a little deeper into advanced military sciences during those times? And what are the takeaways for us in today's age in terms of how do we equip ourselves in a very advanced military manner?
Beautiful question. Let me give you a very simple example. Suppose a country has an iron dome, a missile defense system, where it is able to track and destroy big and small missiles, fighter jets, drones, and missiles up to the speed of 5 Mach. The moment another country invents a missile system which can operate at 10 Mach, the entire air defense system becomes meaningless of the previous country. To develop air defense system, it takes hundreds of millions of dollars. One missile will cost you hardly $1 to $10 million. But just a small scientific advancement can render billions of dollars worth defense system meaningless. Hence, Shri Krishna Tattva Mahasadhana teaches us that one should be in a state of continuous innovation. Continuous innovation. That all latest innovations, all leaps in scientific growth, innovation, invention should be achieved only by righteous forces. Sometimes the righteous forces may have all the wealth in the world. They may have all the legacy military in the world. But if the evil forces are able to make even a small scientific innovation like cannon, they can force righteous forces to an enslavement of 1000 years. It has happened in human history. We don't subscribe enough value to do targeted scientific innovation, while we don't realize that there have been strategic scientific innovation which has redefined the world. For example, around 17th, 18th century, we saw a major leap in the evolution of human civilization when the physics of thermodynamics was applied, discovered, invented, applied. What does it mean? Human beings realized the power of industrialization, the power of locomotive, the power of thermodynamics, the power that coal-based steam engine can bestow on humanity, on its power of moving goods, man, capital from one point to another. Global trade kicked in, evolution in naval engineering kicked in, sea-based transport expanded like anything. Rise of a particular nation took place. Industrialization of many nations took place. Those nations who couldn't industrialize still lagged behind. Then came the physics of electricity. Man discovered electricity. Man discovered dynamo. Man discovered laws of magnetism, how electricity can be generated, how it can be used to run appliances. Another major leap in human civilizational evolution took place. Then came physics of silicon. Computers kicked in. Computing prowess kicked in. The future will belong to physics of consciousness. What happens at the level of atom? The physics of atom, the physics of consciousness. What happens at an angstrom scale, 10 raised to the power minus 10? When the prowess of high performance computing, artificial intelligence, robotic kicks in, that will be another level of human evolution. Shri Krishna Tattva Mahasadhana teaches us that all these new physics of thermodynamics, followed by physics of electricity, followed by physics of silicon, followed by physics of atom, followed by physics of consciousness, should be led, leveraged, and controlled by righteous forces. You should always be in a state of continuous innovation. You should always be in a state of continuous entrepreneurship. You should always be in a state of continuous harnessing of the advancement which the advancement in physics brings into human life, so that the righteous forces continuously bring welfare to humanity, keeping the evil designs of the evil forces at bay. So this is in crux what Shri Krishna Tattva Mahasadhana vis-a-vis advanced military systems and our approach towards it entails. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya. Today we see countries like Israel, who are really geographically really tiny compared to the area of Middle East, for instance, and they are in a state of perpetual war because of hostile neighbors. And we see the sort of innovations that come from that country, see the kind of technology prowess, and if you look at all of the numbers in terms of technological developments, they are right at the top. Now, what are the lessons and learnings for Bharat from it? What can we learn from it? And how do we take that to strategically and militarily empower ourselves so that we continuously innovate and always keep innovating based on what you just said?
Wonderful question. See, innovation is the reason why civilizationally, culturally, Israel is the brother nation of Bharat, India. Indians and Israelites have always shared, through their 1,000 years of coexistence, a brotherly love and a brotherly bond. It is well documented that Jews were never, ever, ever persecuted in any manner in India. It is said that Jews faced persecution in every country in one form or another. India was the only country where Jews never ever had to face any kind of persecution. Rather, they were empowered, their way of life was respected and celebrated in India. It still is. Israel is the true example of the prowess of Shri Krishna Tattva Mahasadhana. A country born by the will, by the sankalp, by the fierce self-respect of enlightened beings who fought for their right to exist, for their right to worship, for their right of self-actualization, for their right to their own self-respect. And even though they had to build a country from scratch, they transformed Israel into the innovation capital of the world. Every Israelite proudly serves in Israel Army, and Israel Army is the hub of innovation. When every Israelite who serves in Israel Army makes invaluable contact, camaraderie among themselves. They turn that contact, camaraderie into innovation, sharing of idea, innovation, and building of startups. And see the prowess of innovation. See the prowess. See, there are many such small countries in the world like Israel. Israel is not a resource-rich country. At one point, it was water deficit country. What did they do? They taught the world the power of drip irrigation, which now even a country like India, which has been traditionally water surplus country, the country of rivers, is adopting drip irrigation now. Israel, when faced with impossible threats to its existence, innovated in military science, innovated in spycraft, innovated in air dominance. We all know that the Iron Dome system invented by Israeli scientists is the best in the world. We know that Israel Air Force, Israel Aerospace Engineering is top class. We know Israel military, all aspects of it, has taught the world so much. But most importantly, today as we see, Israel celebrated in countries like UAE, Abraham Accords being signed. We see the power of innovation over everything else. If a country becomes the super hub of innovation, entrepreneurship, and advanced military systems, then it can overcome all possible challenges, all possible limitations, all possible hostile ecologies. Yes, you can transcend all this just by being the hub of innovation and entrepreneurship development and being the proud owner of advanced military systems, which you invent years before anyone can even think of it. Israel is a living example of it. Bharat celebrates this prowess of its brother nation Israel. Bharat has always been, since time immemorial, for last thousands of years, the Gurukul of innovation and entrepreneurship development, the Gurukul of military advancement, the global university of advanced military systems and strategic empowerment. Unfortunately, there was a spell of foreign barbaric attacks and domination, where this profound nature of Bharat of being the leading military mega power, the leading leader of innovation and entrepreneurship development, got somewhat distracted here there, but it is getting regained at a lightning pace. And by the blessings of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, very soon India will be at the pinnacle of entrepreneurship development, of innovation, of scientific advancement, and of advanced military systems. That is a given. There is a lot to learn how two professors from Hebrew University in Israel understood the importance of institutionalizing and incubating innovation and innovative mindset. Under the aegis of Hebrew University is an ecology known as Telpayot, which nurtures young brains who show the promise for discovery, innovation, and entrepreneurship development. And Telpayot has been instrumental to keep Israel always at the forefront of military innovation. Innovation requires capital infusion at the right time, support to one's idea, often crazy ideas, at the right time, and ecology where a person can fearlessly invent, innovate through multiple iterations of hit and trial, and he's supported and celebrated for it. An ecology where like-minded innovators share their notes with each other. Tel Payot provides exactly that kind of ecology. In Bharat, our Gurukuls, our Takshashilas and Nalandas used to provide the same ecology. Now we are rebuilding them in the image of IITs, IISCs, DRDOs, ISROs of modern India, who are leading the rise of Bharat as the supreme mega power in all dimensions of human civilization, whether it is economic or military or spiritual or global thought leadership. This rise of Bharat augurs divinity, good fortune, and holistic empowerment for the entire humanity, because it is in the DNA of Bharat and its brother nations like Israel that when empowered, we seek the welfare of the entire human civilization, but only those who are righteous and spiritually humanitarian among Homo sapiens, among humans, among human civilization. Om Namah Shivaya.